Hi, everybody. Hey, this is Ashley Burns. I am the instructional technology facilitator here at Arlington Middle School, and I'm very excited to have our very first Bring Your Own Lunch and Learn with Burns. So I'm here on Facebook, and I have my amazing friend and moderator, Robin Finley, who's our librarian, here to help me moderate our Facebook. So if any of you are on Facebook and you have any questions, please comment for questions. I would love to include you on this. Um, oops. I'd love to include you on this. Today, we're talking about how I help the kids organize. This is actually a personal pet project for me because I'm very passionate about organizing and studying and getting ducks in rows. And I feel like I personally was never taught how to study, taught how to organize. This is something that I feel like a lot of us are just kind of thrown in the deep end, and we have to all figure it out for ourselves. Like, how do you actually have a class in school since there's so much time, right? There's so much extra time out there for how to figure that out. So we all kind of have to do that. So I've kind of been very focused and passionate as part of my job as the iPad awesome maker person to take that on and figure out ways to help our kids, what I call being selfish with their iPad. So that's what I'm here to do, to tell you how I'm doing that in the classroom. So I've already met with all of our sixth grade students, and at the end of this week and start of next week, I'll finish meeting with all of the seventh and eighth grade students in their STEM classes to go over this. Now, if you have a seventh or an eighth grader, I did this with them last year, so they've already got this in their brain from a year ago, but we know what happens. So I'll go back and refresh. There's a couple of really big ticket items that we do because whenever you are adulting with a device, y'all know your device probably ends up looking like this, where it's just full of documents. Your desktop, where are they? Where are they located? Or are they on the desktop? Are they in downloads? Or that weird purgatory neverland in between when you go to your email and get something and then you don't know where it gets saved to? What happens there? And that creates those weird plus folders, you know what I'm saying? Like, and where those live? So it can be very confusing. So I kind of try to, with humor, kind of show kids like this doesn't make your brain happy, right? So if you're trying to study or prepare for a test and you are looking at this, trying to figure out where your stuff is, nobody's commented on that. Have you been able to see online? Hold on, I'm trying to see if it's there. Let me see. Yep, it's live. So if they're looking at this, they're not in the right frame of mind to be able to seamlessly collect and gather and keep information, right? Because all they're thinking about is clicking in, clicking out, clicking in, clicking out. Is that the one I want? Is it in this folder? And if you're in a seek and find mentality, like I need to go find my lost keys, even that is jarring as an adult, trying to if you have a full day planned, but you have to stop and go find your keys. So that's the conversation that I have with the kids, that you've got to, I want you to start thinking selfishly. I want you to start thinking about what it's like to be in the class and where would it best be to keep your things. And I actually use this analogy that I'm going to help you create folders that are going to live like train stations. So imagine all the information that you collect in class, the PowerPoints, the documents, the downloads, the assignments, the discussion boards, all the different things that you do. Imagine those as different trains that just go around. What would it be like if we didn't have a train station for those trains to go to? They kind of exist everywhere. Can you imagine that, like the wild, wild west? Well, that's what's happening when you just throw everything like this. There's no station for that to live in. So the first thing that I do with them, they have two different cloud file cabinets where all their things can live in. One of them is called Files, which looks like this, because they have an iCloud account and they have a Microsoft account. Okay? Their Microsoft account is their email address and password. With that account, if you guys have at home, if you have any desktop computers at home, it's awesome to know that, come on in, it's awesome to know that those desktop, because of their Microsoft account, they have rights to be able to download all of the Microsoft programs on, I believe, 5 different devices at home. So if you have a computer and you want them to be able to work on Word, they could log in and download Word and PowerPoint and Onenote and these other programs that we use at home, and they can go back and forth seamlessly between their iPad and that device. They also have 2 terabytes of storage in the cloud for the time that they are in kindergarten through 12th grade. 2 terabytes is a lot of space to store that stuff. Now, their iCloud account also uses their email and password, and that has an additional 200 gigs of space. So we have 2 giant file cabinets that I train them on how to, okay, what we're going to do at the beginning of each year, we're going to create train stations. We're going to create a place for you to send your stuff so we know where it starts, okay? So what I'll do is I'll show them we need to go into Files, and so we're going to pull down our little search button, and we're going to look for Files. Over here on the left are all of our locations. Now, they have less locations than me because I'm real bougie and I need like all this extra stuff, but they're not like me. What we need to make sure that they have access to over here is OneDrive and iCloud, and I work with them to do that. So over here with iCloud, what they're going to do, and I've already done this with all the 6th graders, now I'll go into their STEM classes and I'll verify this. We've created, check out these folders, 22, 23, ELA, Science, Social Studies, STEM. So we have the year and a subject to push our stuff to, okay? We do this in iCloud, and then I have them do it again in OneDrive. OneDrive is Microsoft, okay? So we'll do that again here. And then what I also do, so this is the beginning of the year. We're setting ourselves up for success at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, we want to get ready for next year. Let's go through our photos at the end of the year. Delete what we don't need. Let's go through our documents. Let's go through our folders. Let's either archive by creating a 2022-23 folder and put everything you want to keep in there, like a portfolio, or let's delete what you don't need anymore. Let's get rid of it. Clean our space. It's time to do spring cleaning. So we'll do that at the end of the year so we can start off next year well. And so now, though, we're getting it set up. We're creating these stations. So they'll go in, and I want them to create these folders, these landing pads, right? So after I do that with them, now we can intentionally send things to those places. Now, this isn't where we're going to stop. This is just the beginning, because still, look at all this stuff. It may be organized, but it's still a whole lot of a mess to look at. And when you're trying to study, nobody's brain functions well trying to find it, clicking into one thing, clicking out of it, clicking in another, clicking out of it. It's very jarring, right? Your brain doesn't work like that. So this is just the beginning. Then we go into Schoology, okay? So I'm about to open up Schoology. Our kids use that a lot. All of their classes are in there. Schoology is not where 100% of their assignments may be or projects. They don't have to turn in everything inside of Schoology, or they may not experience all of their school in there. But if their teachers are sending them things, 99% of the time, They're getting them from here. So then I practice, well, what are we going to do with it? Because the kids in class were very, very good at taking tests. We're very, very good at teachers send us assignments. We get the assignments done. We turn them back in, right? We go to get grades. We complete the test. We complete the assignment. We turn it in. But isn't that all the stuff that we need to use to study? So if the only thing we focus in on is how to get it to the teacher and turn it in, we're leaving this whole half of it empty where it's, okay, well, how do I get better at it? Well, how do I learn it? How do I retain it? Or am I just completing it and keeping it over here in Never Neverland or in one of my files? This is where we really get to the meat of it. Does that kind of make sense? Where how we're going to learn the information or how we're going to keep the information. So I have this sample class here. I talked to them about now we need to practice keeping things. Because while I love our file cabinets and those little train stations, like those are still too many things to click into to make studying anything less than jarring. Because all I'm ever doing is looking for keys this way. There's an amazing app that I just love and a lot of our teachers love called Onenote. And Onenote, instead of looking like this, because this means nothing to me. These are just little pictures, and I know what these are, but it's not helpful. OneNote, on the other hand, is like a trapper keeper. It's like a notebook, a digital one, that I can flip through, and it's kept together. And the things that I need can be organized as such. And we can do a whole lot of cool stuff with it. And I want to show y'all that now. Now, this is what I do. I also spend time in the class telling them and showing them about OneNote. All right? So a lot of the classes will create their own notebooks. I believe all of our English language arts classes have notebooks, and a lot of our social studies ones do too. I can't speak to every other content area, but I do tell the kids, if your teacher doesn't make a class notebook for your class, I am recommending to you, like 100% of my heart, please make a notebook for yourself for that class. Let me show you why. So instead of looking at a lot of little icons on your iPad to study and retain, these are my notebooks. These are my ones for school. This is my personal one. I have one as what my job is and how I help teachers. And let's say this is our class called test class. I'm going to make a notebook for it. You can create them by pressing the little plus button down here, and you can create a brand new notebook and color code it. You can have it any color that you want that they have options for. You can create a name for it. And then it creates it here. And then look at these little sections. I can create tabs, little sections inside that. I can change the colors of them. And I just created this one called Notes. You create it the same way that you create notes. I can even say, if I want to create a whole different thing called study guides, I can do that. Pardon me. But let's say that I'm in my social studies class and we're in the section in 6th grade right now called Stone Age. Well, I'm going to need stuff, right? We do PowerPoints in class. My teacher talks in class. Let me show you how amazing OneNote is, okay? So I've created my notes section. I've even created a little page called Stone Age. But let's go back to Schoology. And I've created this sample class for us so that I can just download some things and show y'all what it can do. So let's go into this top folder because I know I have some things in there. I have, oh look, a PowerPoint that I'm going to need. My teacher is giving a PowerPoint. A lot of times the teacher will show a PowerPoint but also post it inside their Schoology so kids can study it or they can follow along with the teacher. Well, if all of the information's inside the PowerPoint, I can use that as a study guide. So if I click on it, this is a really heavy one. I probably should have picked one from another teacher that wasn't super heavy. I forgot about that. Mr. Mann really has super meaty PowerPoints. So this will kind of load as a preview for me. Now, instead of saving it to Never Never Land, I'm going to send it with my little arrow in the top part of the screen. I'm going to save it to my files in one of my folders so I can access it. I'm going to save it inside of, I can pick iCloud, I could pick OneDrive, it doesn't matter. But this is going to go inside my 2023 Social Studies folder, and I'm just going to hit save. And it's there now, and I can go into Files, and I can go up to Social Studies, and here it comes. It's downloading there. It's still not helpful to me, though. It's a little file. I can't even see all the things in it, right? It's still away from me. So I'll click on it here. Let's see. Hold on. Don't want to open it. I want to send it straight there. Here we go. So I'm going to long click on that and share this to OneNote. Oh, it's too large. Of course I picked one that was too large. Let me open one of the other ones, because this was a PowerPoint that I made into a PDF. But I show all the kids how to do all of this. So I'm going to save this to files into that same social studies folder. All right. All right, we're going to send that to OneNote. Here's what's awesome. I can pick its location, so I can choose any of the notebooks that I have, and I want it to go inside my notes. I could even type notes about it, like maybe when it was, or have a test coming up on that. There's any kind of little notes that I could send on that. But once I send it there, check it out, there it is. Still have to click into it though. If I single click on it, I can hit that little button called print out, and all of a sudden this is much more like paper. Seeing the difference now? This is where OneNote comes to life. So this is that PowerPoint, and this is where we get started. So I practice this in the classroom with the kids, how to get things out of Schoology, how to get them to our train station so that we can send them here. Like it's the holding place. We want it to live there, to come here so that I can actually use it. All right, now what am I going to do with it? Well, once it's here, I can open it up in class, and I can actually draw on this. And if I really know that my teacher is really good at explaining something, I can go up to insert, and I can hit audio, and I can record how my teacher's explaining a math problem, how my teacher is explaining something very specific, and just hit audio. And once that's done, I can stop my recording, and an audio file is there. If I long press that, I can rename it and say explanation of, what have you, say. And that's the name of it. So I know, how do I do that math problem? This is my teacher explaining it. I can also continue to take notes. I can highlight on there. I can create all kind of different things that are very helpful on that. I can go back to insert, add another page. I can open up my camera and take pictures of the classroom board and take notes on that. Maybe there's stuff on actionable items, stuff I need to do on that, and I'm taking notes on that. This is what she was talking about. Teachers doing a lab in class. I can insert, tap in here. I can change my camera to actually where we do this. Nope, don't want to do that. So straight from there, I'm only entering that, but I can also take, I believe I can insert movies, so I could record something going on in class from my camera, insert that. I can insert other files or other PDFs. Oh, this is something my teacher took me, and look, it's all on one page. I can keep scrolling. So whatever happened in class today, I can keep taking notes on that. And this is one experience. And look, and when I'm going in between these pages, they're all open. They're all just there instead of me having to figure it out, clicking in, clicking out, clicking in, clicking out, clicking in. This is a much more seamless experience of what's actually happening. And I can and have personally been in, let me see. This is my ITF one, and let's see, where do we get Bartlett Excellence. I shared this notebook with the three other of me at the other schools, and so we each have our own little section. And when we went to, so this is me taking notes at a conference on a program called Canvas, and look, while the person's talking, I've taken photos, I've taken notes, I'm highlighting what she's talking about and taking more notes on that. And all of my counterparts have access to it that I can go back to and look at that. I could insert a PowerPoint in this part and take notes on it. I can insert photos, I can make graphs, I can collaborate with people. There's all kind of things that I can do with this and keep everything together instead of having it be 100 different places. That's what I love about it. It works so much better than the way that, I feel like it works better than the like the way that your brain works, as opposed to like expecting everybody to look constantly looking through their document folder. So that's one thing I'll do in there with them is practice taking different types of things out of Schoology, PDFs, PowerPoints. What if we're in the app? What if we're in the online version of Schoology? Let's practice, because sometimes like there's a glitch, something will happen. Technology happens to all of us, right? So they need to be able to know how to problem solve through something if a glitch happens, right? Instead of letting that glitch be their barrier. One of the other things that I talk to them about is tagging. Tagging items only exist inside of files, and I've created lots of tags over here on the left of mine. So how would that work? Well, we can organize our documents by saving them to different folders, but what if I had something, I didn't know, I had something that was in science, but it could also apply to several different types of categories, such as maybe group work that I have, or assignments that I need to turn in, or current assignments that I'm working on. I could put something in my science folder that maybe my teacher wanted this thing, the human body PowerPoint. Maybe there's something I had to do to it, and it was something for me to turn in. And it goes to science, but maybe I also need to tag it to be an assignment, and maybe it's also group work. So I've tagged it. It still lives inside my social studies or science or wherever it lives. But when I go over here and click on my assignments, no matter where those items are, they pop up. Kind of cool, right? So it can really behoove them or really benefit them to really take advantage of that. And I talk to them about hashtags. They know how to search for hashtags. They know how to use how that works in social media. This works the same way. So if I don't remember where I put a video or a photo, I can tag it as an assignment. I can tag it, and it make it so much easier for me to find it. And they go, oh. And I love that things can have multiple tags. So if you have Apple devices, love this feature. It works on your phone, on your iPad, on your laptops, on desktops. It's absolutely wonderful. And you can always delete the tags and take up this one's not to be completed. I've already completed that. So once you complete things, you can do that. So you can change them, edit them, add tags, and I teach them how to do that. I find tagging a very underutilized, useful resource on the device. Beyond that, I'll also walk them through adulting with a calendar and creating things that are happening. So I want them to go every Monday, and I want them to look at all of their weekly agendas on Schoology. And if they need to create on their personal calendar on their iPad, they can create little items like I have a test today, or I need to study for this. And that y'all know how to create events. They just haven't been taught how to do that and the purpose of them. So I talked to them about that. I also have a club. It used to be called Tiger Time, but I have to change. I'm changing the name of it now because we're using Gisela. I will get with you on this. I'll have Miss Robin. Do you see that question? Okay. All right. So our librarian's looking at your question now, and we will make sure to answer that. Thank you so much for watching. They haven't really utilized calendar features as an adult. So this is all about taking advantage of that. Now, there's a club that we started last spring. It was called Tiger Time. I'm working on the name of it now. But I'll make sure if I can get y'all's, you know what, I need to create an email section on that. Maybe I can get y'all's emails before you go. And please, Gisela, get me your email as well, because this club is about organization. So it meets, once we get started, it meets the first day of every week, whether the first day of that week that we come to school is Monday, or the first day we come to that week that day that week is Tuesday. Because you know we're out a lot of Mondays, but this club has to meet. And we start at 7:45. It'll either be in the library or the cafe. And all we do is open up the weekly agenda for all of their courses and get them plugged into their calendar, whether they're using a paper calendar, a weekly agenda printout, and I have printouts for them. I have markers and all kinds of stickers for them to use to make it fun, like bullet journaling and stamps and washi tape, or they can use their digital calendar. And they go through every one of their WAGs, their weekly agendas for all of their classes, and we plug in what's due this week, when are you having tests, what's happening, and I get them to plug all of that into their calendar, and it's just a place for them to definitely do that. Zach was involved in it last year. Thank you so much, Bradley and Megan. We had a bunch of kids in the club last year. The students are signing up for clubs in the next few weeks. Those generally happen in September, but I got special permission for my organization club to start earlier. I just need to get a name for it. So if y'all could please make sure I have your email addresses so I make sure y'all know about this, then I can get that to y'all. You can message me, ashley.burns@acsk-12.org, or you can message the middle school page here, however you want to get that to me. We will love to have y'all in it. And we want to cater to all the kids, whether you're digital or analog. I'm actually both. I found that I like doing a digital calendar and an analog calendar because I'm also an artist, so I need it to be fun. And I feel like if it's fun, then I want to do it, and I keep it more organized. So that's why I have also stickers and washi tape and highlighters and hundreds of colors of markers for them to do the most boring thing on the planet and write on a calendar what they're doing this week. And we play light music and try to make it fun for them. So I'm hoping that club's not going to start, I don't think this week, but next week. I'm very excited about it. So I'd love to add you too, Leanne. I'm so glad y'all are watching. So we teach them those things, and then I also bring in a guidance counselor to talk about study habits. And we talk about actionable steps for themselves, that if you don't read a whole lot right now and you want to read more, creating a goal that says read more is not really a good goal to have, because that's so wishy-washy and it's not attainable. It's not actionable. I can't read, like, if I read a sentence and I didn't read one last week, that's more than I did, but that's not really the purpose of that. So if I maybe have set a goal to read 10 minutes a day, that's an actionable item. So we talk to them about creating actionable items that they can actually meet and attainable goals. So when they do come to this club, the way that they sign in is by creating a small goal for them for the week. So they don't actually write down their name. They do a digital QR code where the only thing they submit is, what's your goal for this week? What's the one thing you want to attain? And so it kind of helps build your emotional health too. If you are, writing, 3 positive things that happened yesterday. What's 3 good things that are going on for you? Or what's one thing, one small thing, not giant thing. If you're a C student in math and you want to make A's, saying, I'm going to make all A's next week, that's a really big jump, and that's really hard. But if I say, you know what, I got this on this test, but on next quiz, I want to improve that by 5 points. You know what? We can stair step that. That's something that can be attainable. And if you have that goal and we look at it, I can say, okay, well, how can we do that? What are small items that you can do? What did you do last week to study? Did you practice any of those math problems? Well, if you didn't, how about on Tuesday and Thursday this week, you work for 10 minutes or 15 minutes on those math problems that you didn't do last week. That's more than you did that week. Did you do that? And so that's what we'll talk about, is what goals are you making? Let's make some. Let's see if we can attain them. And then I'll help keep them accountable for those things. But not making lofty ones. Because when you make lofty ones, if you don't reach it, then it does something to you, right? Because then do you want to make another goal if you can't make that first one? So we'll make little ones that we can make, and hopefully they'll enjoy it. I did have a good amount of kids that came last year that we tried to make it fun with the stickers and the music and things like that, because do I really want to write everything I'm doing this week down, like all of the tests, because that's amazing. Yes, you can definitely, thank you, Robin, you can definitely be involved in more than one club.
Giselle wants to know how to get on Schoology Parent.
Oh, Gisela, I will definitely get you involved in Schoology Parent. I just need you to message me who your student is so I can get you that code. Have you guys been connected to your Schoologies? Okay, I need to make sure to get your student so that I have who they are, and then we can get all of that set up. If y'all have computers that you can, that you want to bring, or I can do it on your iPad, I can help you do all of those things. Did you guys have any questions for where your student is right now, or what's happening right now that I can help answer? Because they're definitely asking questions. I want to make sure I'm getting y'all's too.
I'm just smiling
Yeah.
because I'm given a similar class to investigate and organize. I'm retired law enforcement.
Oh, thank you.
Worked for DOJ, and I used to give classes. One of the classes we gave was organizing. We emphasized one.
Oh, don't you love it?
I love it.
We use it for our staff notebook here, and we've used it for 5 years or 6 years now. And it used to be, we only put our handbook in it. And now it's like this mammoth thing that's just grown a little bit every year. OneNote is so powerful, and I've just given you a tiny taste of it. If your student is actually has difficulty reading, there's some accessibility features inside of OneNote that it can help get rid of all the white noise around it, and it can make it to where it highlights sentences at a time so that you can focus on one area. It can read it to you so that you can follow along with it. And I work with our students too to set up those accessibility features, because it took me becoming an adult to figure out I like listening to nonfiction text better than I like reading it. And I learn better with nonfiction text that way. Does that kind of make sense? Instead of reading nonfiction books or reading nonfiction text, if I hear it, I retain it better. But how would you know that? We're all built differently. I've also learned that there are people that they learn better if they hear it, but hear it at twice the normal speed. And we can actually go into your iPad, and I'll do this with our students, to turn on those accessibility features where it will read it to you. And the iPad actually has a voice, because a lot of times they sound like a very garbled, computer voice that doesn't have intonation the way we do as humans, right? A lot of them sound like that. However, Apple has a voice called Alex, which they've spent a lot of time building. And Alex actually has breath patterns, how we stop to talk when we breathe in, we pause at different rates, and Alex is the most human sounding voice that they have. So I encourage our students, when I go turn on voice to speech, to use Alex as the voice, and then we practice different speeds. There's a lot of accessibility features that, whether or not you have an IEP, like, we could all use them. And it's important for us to kind of self-reflect. How are you learning? Do you learn better if you're taking pictures of what's happening? Do you learn better if you're taking notes? I'm a drawer. I do really well if I'm listening to the teacher, not even looking at them, and I'm just drawing the notes, and whatever words are sticking out, I'm doodling around them and making them bigger and putting arrows with them. And I'll retain so much more if I do that. But maybe you need the PowerPoint and you're underlining things or taking notes next to it. Maybe you need to record the audio of what they're saying. Would you prefer to have, like, if there's a demo going on, to do a video of it? We're all different. And the discussions I have with them is about embracing who you are and being, really big word here, metacognitive, thinking about thinking. We need them to think about how they learn, think about how they think. And I call it being selfish about learning. We've got to have self-realization, self-actualization moments. And I'm encouraging them to think, what if there's a class you really like, what do you like about it? Is it how the teacher talks? Are they doing something that works for you that you can now take into another class and apply it selfishly in another class? If you did really well on a test, why did it? Why did you? If it's a subject or content that you loved a lot and it just made it easy, well, you're going to have to get creative about how to make this next one over here interesting for you. So how can we do that? So if you need to have, I figured out I need buy-in for fun. And for fun for me, it's making it look good. So if I can make my notes look good, then I actually want to look at them. But everybody's different. And so we get to have these conversations with them in the class about, well, what do you think? What worked for you? Is that good for you? And it's different. Adulting is way different with a device than they ever have before. But I love being able to initiate that conversation, because the teachers you don't have a lot of time for stuff like that. How do you learn? Well, I don't know. I have no idea. But I love that you guys use OneNote. It's become so powerful. And I feel selfishly that it really works the way our brains do. It just flows better. So we have a lot more teachers really using it since we've really used it as our faculty handbook, and them seeing how amazing it is. Do y'all have any? Yes, go.
Us as parents, can we navigate through OneNote also?
If you,
the files and the folders and stuff like that?
okay, they have access to download all of those things on 5 devices. So if you have a device like a laptop, if they log in, it can be all of those can be downloaded. Make sense? And used there. On that device. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the home desktop.
Yes.
Okay.
So it can be used there.
But she would have to,
She would need to do the login. It would be her account. I have no idea if you can like I don't know anything about adding extras or whatever, but you could actually utilize them. OneNote on the iPad, I believe, is free. I think you can download it and just use it for free. So if you're wanting selfishly to have it for yourself, because I love it, I use it for everything, I do think it's free. But to do what they do and have class notebooks and things like that, you actually have to have accounts like we do with Microsoft that aren't free. But using it on your own, just my personal notebook, you could do that on your own on the iPad for free. Or
No, it's not for free, it would be.
for them.
using it for her, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
She
that I
can.
could see,
Uh-huh.
what she had created.
You absolutely
that
could,
she
and y'all
knows
could use it to
correctly.
study, and you could go back and go, well, what do you have all in the Stone Age section that you've created? What's going on now? Let's make sure it's there, because it's great. Your teachers are going to want it all a certain way for turned in for them, and they also need to focus dually. How do I get it to them? How do I keep it for me? How am I going to study for me? How do I keep it for me? And I do talk about them needing to do that. Does that kind of make sense? Because that can be different. But they do have access to that. You can do that at home. Do you have any? No? Is this being helpful to y'all? Please make sure you get my email. I see we have a good amount of comments on our Facebook page, and I'm so excited about these. I will get you guys, I promise I'm going to work with Robin and Miss Banks and my other friends to figure out a new name for our club and make sure that it's not going to be this Monday. We're already halfway through the week, but I imagine she'll allow me to meet the next Monday, but none of the other clubs. So I don't know what their names are. We're working on them. I'm actually building the keynote now to send all to the kids and to have playing in the mornings for announcements so that they can choose the clubs that they want to either sign up for or apply for or learn about the ones that we have. Like how do I get accepted at the end of the year to Beta Club or to National Junior Honor Society, because those are ones I have to qualify for. So they'll learn about those and learn how to sign up for guitar club or chess club or art club. But this one's different. Those are all after Labor Day. This one, because we have tests coming up. I can't wait till Labor Day. So,
Why are you changing the name?
because we've added a special period in our class schedule every day that they've called Tiger Time, that it takes the place in between 5th period and 6th period, and you go back to one of your classes every day. So it varies whether today's 1st through 6th period. Today might be 4th period. I don't know what today is. But during Tiger Time, you go back to that class, and we're not working on making up tests. You're not doing makeup work. It's about reinforcement of what I'm learning, and how can I get better where I'm weak, and how can I get stronger where I'm strong. So its only purpose is that. So since they needed the words Tiger Time, I am choosing a new organizational name for mine. And it'll be great. It's going to be awesome. So I'll make sure y'all know, and I'll look through all of these to get those email addresses so that I can make sure y'all know about it, and then I'll post it too, because I'm passionate about it. I hope other kids take advantage of it. And it's not a hangout time. So it is one of those clubs where people come and they look like they're hanging out. It's going to be, we got to work. This is about getting our WAGs done. So I'm really glad that you guys have all joined us. I hope that you'll be able to join us for our next one. I'm going to be posting on Facebook. I have all of the Bring Your Own Lunch and Learn series for the entire semester and what we're doing each next time. So September 14th is the next meeting, and it's all about IXL. So we're going to learn all about IXL on September 14th. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, and I can't wait to see you guys in September. Thanks for joining me, everyone.